Hello everybody, how are we doing today? So today's video I'm going to be cleaning up these cast iron frying pans I got. Somebody on Marketplace was selling these for like 50 bucks. So I got the whole set actually for 50 bucks. I also got included in that for 50 bucks was this here kettle, well, that's coffee pot, sorry. Percolating coffee pot for camping. These things alone, where I'm at, are about 40 bucks just to buy these. This is brand new, never been used, still in the box. Came with all this cast iron pots and pans. So what I'm going to work on today is I'm going to show you guys how to clean these things, or how to restore these things. Some of these aren't bad. They've been somewhat well cared for. As you can see, there's a little bit of rust here on the sides. Forget some sitting probably. There's a lot of soot stuck to the bottoms of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be cleaning up all that rust in here. This isn't bad actually, but you know, clean that up, get the soot off of it. On the lid of this one here, on the big pot, you can see there's a bigger rust spots. So I'm going to grind all that down, get all the old seasoning off, and then we'll re-season them. I don't know if you can see in here, there's quite a bit of rust right there. So that's got to be cleaned off, and then there's some sticky oil on the bottom. So somebody tried to care for them, but just didn't do a great job. Now these aren't great pans to begin with. These two are just two made in Taiwan ones. They're not really thick, but they're kind of light, so they're nice if you probably throw these in your backpack and take them backpacking with you, rather than carrying one of these big heavier ones in your backpack. These are more for like camping, if you're car camping or whatever. Same with this one here. But these would actually be light enough, like I said, to carry in a backpack. So, because I don't like the little tin pots and pans that you can buy in the kit. They have their place, but for the most part, they just burn food. So these are nice. They hold heat better. They distribute heat better. So, but anyway, so let's get to it. Let's start with this one is not bad. So I think what I'm going to do is just clean up the rim here. This one where the seasoning has been left really thick, and then I'm going to clean up some of the pitting in here, and some of the seasoning off the outside. Some of this stuff here, so we'll get that stuff cleaned up, and then like I say, for the most part the bottom part of this one's not bad, and same with this one, it's just a little bit of soot on the bottom, so we'll clean that one up. And then and this one here you can see is getting a little bad. It's got some pretty nasty rust. So what we're going to do, I'm going to use the wire brush on a grinder. That's all I have. I don't have anything smaller. It should be good enough for what I'm doing though. I just needed to get in the crevices and stuff like that. Like I say, for the most part these aren't that bad. And then after we do that, we're going to take them inside and we're going to coat them in oil or shortening or whatever it is that you use to re-season them. There are different things that you can use. Some people like using oil, some like using Crisco. There's actual seasoning stuff that you can buy. I'm just going to be using shortening myself, and then probably do about 3 layers with the shortening, and then as you use them they start to season themselves as you use them and clean them and care for them and stuff. So, but why don't we get started here? Enough talking. We'll get started and show you how this is done. So number one thing, most important thing when you're doing this, the safety glasses. And let's start grinding. So as you can see, the wire brush does a pretty good job there. There's where I wire brushed, and there's where I haven't. You can see the soot and old seasoning is starting to come off. I got some of the stuff off of in there. It's It'd be a bit tricky to get in here because it wants to grab there and push the grinder off, but and I'm doing this with one hand, but yeah, it's working. So there's down a bear, and there's the thick soot, and you can see the thick soot all the way on the whole thing. So anyway, let's continue with that and get that all done. Here's another quick tip. So when you're using these wire brushes, you might want to use gloves too, because that just come flying out of the brush and landed right into my skin there. Pluck that out of there. So gloves aren't a bad idea either, because yeah, these come loose. Like they come flying off sometimes. So just take care when you're using them. So that's pretty much the best I'm going to get on the bottom of that. So let's just work a little bit on the inside. There's not much on the inside to do, at least not on this one. So just do a quick skim. Now, if you don't want to use one of these wire brushes, you can also use. Yeah, see, look at that, I'm bleeding. You can also use what do they call it? Like kind of like the kitchen scrubby things, the green pads. They make wheels for the use with that for that too. Anyway, let's continue on with this. There's that one done. And then this one here is just these small areas. So in this one here, when I was looking at all that pitting, the pitting actually wasn't even in the frying pan. It was just in the old seasoning that was on it. Once I ground the old seasoning off, all the pitting went away. But yeah, so they're all cleaned up. All I gotta do now is, like I said, take them in and wash them with hot water and soap and get all the rust and stuff, like all the loose dust and dirt and grime from grinding. And then after that, it goes into the oven and gets seasoned. Okay, so after you've washed them all with soap and water, I want to just I stuck them in the oven for a bit while the oven was preheating, just to dry off any of the excess moisture. And then after you do that, when you pull them out, you just put them them down a second time. get all the rest of the surface rust that'll reform from washing them. It's just surface rust or dust basically. So you want to get all that off of there. I've already done that to all the rest of the pans. So you get all that leftover dirt. It's kind of the surface stuff that's going to reform as soon as they get wet, right? Make sure you clean all that off good. Make sure you get right inside the lip if you have lips like that. Both sides, inside and out. Okay. Now once you have all that done, I like to take a quick microfiber rag and just kind of clean out any of the lint that may have got in there from the paper towel. So when you put the oil on, or the Crisco, whatever it is you're using, make sure you use a microfiber rag. See, if you look, that's just the excess. Even after I've washed that a dozen times, you still get some of that. So you want to try to get as much of that as you can out of the pans, because you want it to be clean to start with, right? It's also why you don't use your wife's good dishcloth. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, while these pans are still warm from being in the oven and drying off, you want to put your oil that on. So to set up your oven, I'll show you really quick how to set up the oven. In mine anyway, because I love my wife and I don't want her to kill me, I've put a tin foil on the bottom rack just so that the drippings don't drip down into the bottom of her stove. And I got my rack set up, so I got my big pans down here, my smaller ones up here. Got the oven preheated to 400 degrees. And so, like I say, while the pans are still warm, because you want them to be warm while you do this next part, take a scoop of Crisco, or if you're using oil, just throw your oil in there. Alright, and then just smear it around in there, get a good coat. Then we're actually going to divide that up into two of them there. I'm actually going to divide that up into three of them. There's a lot there. Okay, so smear that around. Get a good coat on every single part of the pan. Again, inside and out. Get a good layer on there, including the lip. Don't forget the lip. This is the part that everybody forgets. Okay, both sides. And on pans like this one, don't forget, even in the little indents right here, where the handles and stuff are, make sure you get some in there too. Okay. Okay, make sure you wipe out any excess there. And then I'm going to take the pan and stick it side down in the oven. Okay, now I'm going to do the lid here. Including the handle. Again, Again, both sides, inside and out. Don't forget the lips. Okay. And again, in the oven it goes. And you do that with all the rest of them. Put them all in the oven. You can leave them in there for about an hour, hour and a half, at about 400 degrees. And then when it's done, you just turn the oven off and let it all cool naturally. And then you do another coat. Okay, so now what you got to remember too. Alright, so we're almost done here. Again, don't forget to get the handles on both sides. Get it in all the nooks and crannies, get it in there good. And now when you're done getting it on all of the pans, again, even the bottom part of the handle, every nook and cranny, because even all that will rust. Okay. So once you have it on everything, just want to go around one more time and just make sure you get any excess, because you don't want big globs. Otherwise it's going to leave big blotchy spots on your pan, and you're going to get a lot of dripping and a lot of smoke. You don't want to do that. So get all the excess off so it's a nice smooth coating like that. Put them all in the oven. Upside down. And make sure you turn your exhaust fan on, otherwise your smoke detector is going to go off. And you just leave that in there for, like I say, an hour to an hour and a half. 400. Shut it off. Let it all cool naturally. And then you're going to do round 2 and then a round 3. And then after you do 3 rounds of this, then as you use the pan, it'll season it completely. You may notice after the 3 rounds, you still got some spots that aren't black, but don't worry, that will all fill in eventually as you use it.